in any walk of life, if you make decisions that are said to be a little bit left field or against the grain, if you make those decisions, you know in the back of your mind that if they go wrong, you're going to get a lot of stick. So never discount the importance of bravery and boldness in making these decisions. These guys are brave, they're backing their judgment, and they know if it goes wrong, they're going to get some stick, but they're happy to do that.
Can't get an escape from this vision of future selection meetings being chaired by a professor of mathematics, programming it, taking information about the requirements, and then entering it all into a laptop and then printing out a short list of candidates.
It's quite important not to overstate I mean, they've got all the data at their fingertips and they've got the information, but you still need that cricketing judgment.
I was going to say, I find that part of me should find that scary, but I don't. I find it quite exciting.
Well, if I was in their situation, if I was the captain or the coach, I'd want that amount of data if I had it, as long as you trusted the information, you thought it was accurate. That can only help you in your decision making, but you still need the judgment, the judgment of perhaps you can't. It's the old baseball moneyball thing, isn't it? You've got the kind of gnarled old scouts who've been around for donkey's years, and then you've got the Billy Bean type data, but you need to marry the two. One's no good without the other. You still need that judgment and that kind of feel for the game. And the other thing not to be discounted is the bravery in making decisions, because in any walk of life, if you make decisions that are said to be a little bit left field or against the grain, if you make those decisions, you know in the back of your mind that if they go wrong, you're going to get a lot of stick. So, for example, England not coming to India to play any warm-up games, they decided 10 days in Abu Dhabi. You know if things go wrong, you're going to get flack for that. Same with the picking of Hartley and Bashir. If they don't bowl well, if it goes wrong, you're going to get flack. So never discount the importance of bravery and boldness in making these decisions. These guys are brave, they're backing their judgment, and they know if it goes wrong, they're going to get some stick, but they're happy to do that. And then the other thing, which is where McCullum in particular and Stokes are so good, is that once you've made those decisions, then embracing the decisions and managing these young players within the environment. So it's a kind of combination of all kinds of things, of which data and information is just one part of it. And, in selection, you're never going to get everything right. You'll make mistakes, and people will have different opinions. I, for example, would have played Mark Wood this game instead of Rayan Ahmed. I think that's just my personal opinion. And there will always be different opinions. But what you hope is that the system for selection is robust. That there are 400 professional cricketers in England, and they deserve a robust system where, the selections that are thorough. And I think, if your professional career is on the line, you deserve to know that the people making the decisions on your career or somebody else's career, that the process by which those decisions are made is a thorough one.
So it's one thing looking at the bowlers who've been successful in India, and then local bowlers, Indian bowlers, and then looking to emulate them. So take Axar Patel as the example, and then so you come to the conclusion that you need a spin bowler bowling at a certain speed and from a higher than normal delivery point, and you identify Shoaib Bashir, or your computer does. But actually Ben Stokes saw a clip, didn't he, on Twitter?
Exactly, and that's the point really, that it's that combination. The selectors like what Bashir has shown them, but the initial kind of impetus was Stokes seeing the clip on social media of Shoaib Bashir bowling to Alistair Cook. He then put it on the WhatsApp group that he shares with Rob Key and Brendan McCullum, that mainly has kind of golf swings and nonsense on it. But at this point he said, well, quite like the look of this kid, what's happening? And then then they'll have their eye on him. And then he went on a Lions camp in November. It was a camp my lad was on, actually, so I followed that quite closely for obvious reasons. And there were 8 young spinners there. Shoaib Bashir impressed them all. They played one match against Afghanistan A. He got wickets, and then suddenly finds himself in the team. So that's the process from where they started. That includes all those elements we've talked about: the data, the information, the bravery in making the call, and then the backing of the call, and then the empathetic management that will see him well looked after.
Now that's exactly the point I was coming on to. It's the management, isn't it? It's all very well saying, well, this lad Shoaib Bashir from Somerset via Berkshire bowls at the right speeds and the right delivery
Via
points.
Berkshire, Surrey and Middlesex. I mean, if you look at his profile, it's incredible, really. Only June last year, we were looking at Cricket Archive, that wonderful resource that shows you where all these players have come from. And just before his first-class debut last year, he was playing for Taunton Dean. He was something like 4th change for Taunton Dean in some league match in Somerset. And now here he is in Vizag.
How would you have felt, do you think, if you'd been told by the selectors as captain of England that you were going to be taking a 20-year-old off-spinner with half a dozen games of experience into a test match in India? Because it's one thing, having the data, and obviously they know a little bit about his character and personality, quite a lot actually, after the Lions camp. But I'm leading you towards commenting on Ben Stokes and the way he handled Tom Hartley when he was savaged in the first test match in his first spell. And
well, I mean, I've said it many times, he's a remarkable cricketer and a remarkable captain. From what I've seen, he's as good as any England captain that I've seen. I've said it on record that he's going to go down as a fabulous England captain by the time that he's finished. But that is a strength of his, I think, that he's a very empathetic character. I think players know that he's got their back. He's a very selfless cricketer. He's not going to do stuff that he wouldn't do stuff himself that he's going to ask others to do. So in terms of the Tom Hartley thing, I felt, well, he was certainly right not to take him off after 2 overs. That would have been wrong. I actually thought he kept him on a little too long when he bowled him 9, because I thought Root should have bowled at the left-hander, and in fact Root then got the left-hander out next morning. But again, that's opinions. I have an opinion, you have an opinion, everybody has an opinion. What matters is his opinion, because he's the one making the calls. But the fact that Tom Hartley will have felt backed and valued, and the fact that Stokes didn't take him off after getting a mauling in 2 overs there was a dividend that came in the second innings when Hartley bowled so well in conditions that were pretty helpful.